recorded on the floor, and we're not going to have that like little intro and stuff. And this is just a bonus video, really, more than anything. But as you may be aware, I now actually have a proper drones license. Before I was flying toy drones and flying drones with supervision, so I kind of never had this issue. But now I have a drone flight license, operator, done some tests, etc. And I thought it was time for me to get a drone. And I wanted to get one that was under the weight limit. So as you may, well, I'm going to do this video on this later, but basically to explain that there is a UK weight limit on what you're legally allowed to fly, and this falls underneath it, which means you don't have to be registered. Well, you do have to be registered, but not in the high brackets, which is good. And this is the DJI Mini 2. You've probably seen videos on this already. It's quite a popular drone. It's mainly popular for the fact that it's easy to fly and kind of is a nice starter drone. So I went with a Fly More combo just because everybody says it's a good idea to go with. You get free batteries, you get extra propellers, you get a bag, you get this charge thing and such. But I thought I'd unbox it live as a little bit of an extra. This is not like a proper video, like I said. It's why it's a live video and being done on the floor. So let's see what you get inside the box. Well, we know it's inside the box, but let's have a look at it in the box, I should say. So this has the Oculus Sync 2. So it means it should be able to go up to 10 kilometers. Not that I'm ever going to fly it that far away from myself. And you must always keep it within, the line of sight. So it looks like everything is being stored in the bag itself when you get it, which is fine by me. I like things that come with bags because it means storing things a lot easier. I don't have my shelves just full of random boxes as much. So in the front pouch, we have nothing. So I suspect in the front you could probably store probably just a little small phone in there or charging cables. I don't think there's really much space in there. Now if we open the main bag up, doing this one-handed is always a challenge. There we go. So it opens up from the back. It's about 31 minutes flight time, although obviously depending on your wind conditions and the battery states, that can obviously change, so I wouldn't necessarily take that as granted. The actual device itself does weigh less than 249. It weighs about 242 to ish with the batteries and SD cards all included. So we'll just take this drone out for now and we'll put it to one side. I'm already surprised with how light that is. This should be our controller, and that's a beefy controller. Now you can charge your phone with the controller, and the cable I believe is discreetly stored in the actual holder itself. Because again, I've done my research. Like anybody, I suggest to anybody, if you go buy anything, don't just rush out and buy something without reading everything up and checking everything first. So we have the controller. At the bottom are the two little control sticks that are stored here, and you can just screw them in here, and then you've got your up and down and rotate, and then we have our forwards, backwards, left and right motion. We have three modes: cine mode, normal, and sport. Sport means it's more power goes to the motors, which means it's better in high wind conditions, but it does obviously go faster, so I'm probably always going to try and keep this on normal. Cine mode, I think, is a slower mode than normal, so I think it makes the camera go even slower and focuses on the kind of slow panning kind of footage. We have a return to home button, which if you hold it down, returns the drone to its takeoff point using GPS coordinates. It's accurate within about 5 foot or so, I believe. If I press that once, it pauses, hold it down, it turns it to home. That's our power button. Hello, Alien Gamer. We have a wheel at the top here, which will adjust our gimbal, our photo and video button. So I think it's single press. Yes, you are first. Single press to take a picture and hold it down to record, I think. Not sure what these are. I think these are just pads. Yeah, they look like just pads. So I'm going to do this all one-handed, and there we go. So this is our mount holder, and in there you can just about see there's a cable. and we just thread that cable into our phone or tablet. If you're using a tablet, you will need probably a tablet adapter, especially if you're using anything bigger than a iPad mini. I'm aiming to use this drone largely for getting sort of cinematic shots from the air, largely sort of nothing super high, just to kind of have orbits around people. I'm going to try and get some sort of guards on the blades, because again, I'm not going to be flying this super high. I'd like to ideally potentially at some point use it for photogrammetry, because you can use drones for photogrammetry. There are applications that allow you to do that. But for me, just a kind of bit of fun just to get a unique camera angle that I can't get at the moment. To try and emulate a drone shot, I've been using a 360 camera on a really long pole, having it walk behind me and follow me. And whilst you can kind of get that illusion, it's well, not the same really, is it? Accessory bag. This should be our batteries and chargers and all that jazz. So yeah, we have the charging hub. This cost about 500. You can get it for about 400 to 300. If you don't want to, if you're not bothered about 4K, you can go for the DJI Mini, the first version, or the Mini SE, which is the refresh version of the Mini, or the Mavic Mini as it was known. Again, it just depends whether you want 4K or not. It doesn't have any obstacle sensing other than, you know, what the ground is. So just bear that in mind. But it's again, for the price, to get 4K quality of a gimbal is, you know, not bad. And the fact it has a return to home functionality, again, is kind of key, especially if you're not a confident flyer. Plug. It looks like it charges through USB-C. Yes, USB-C with micro SD card on the back. Awesome. Hello, Jimmy Wong. We have our different cables there. So again, depending on what phone you're using, whether you're using a iPhone or Android, you should be able to adjust that, which is great. I've gone off this and what people recommended, and people have recommended that the best drone, if you want to go for some cheap, but something that gives you good quality, is the DJI Mini 2 for 4K. If you want something cheaper, just go to the DJI Mini. You'll get a great result. If you're smashing a DJI Mini, then it's only about 200 to 300 pounds compared to the extra 200 to 300 for this set, and especially when you can get them in a discount, the minis. We should have our user guides and propellers, and here I imagine would be our propeller guards and guides, because this does come with spare propellers. You wouldn't want to fly this inside. Can you attach other cameras onto it? You can't attach other cameras. You can't change the camera that's on it. You can attach lightweight cameras to the top, and people have actually, there are mounts you can get, which I wouldn't necessarily officially support or can recommend necessarily, but people have attached things like the Insta360 1R onto the top using adhesive and sticking the camera onto the top. It can also carry a surprising amount of weight, actually. So people have used these to carry payloads. So if you, I would say, we wouldn't be out wanting to carry anything greater than the sort of weight of a generic GoPro, for example. But yeah, you can mount things onto these. But bearing in mind, once you start adding weight onto it, you start to make the camera then obviously weigh more, which then could breach certain aviation laws. So the reason this is allowed without having to register for higher licenses is because it's under the 250 gram limit. Once it becomes over 250 grams with everything on it when it's flying, then obviously you'd really have to apply for a higher license and higher condition and insurance and other things come into play. Some of that is still up in the air at the moment. So you're looking for the next Spark AR tutorials. Spark AR tutorials were on hold for a while. Largely because there hasn't been really any features that have been added that have significantly changed the software enough for myself to be invested back into it. But yes, there will be some more videos coming on that. What project am I working on with the Intel RealSense? With the RealSense, I'm actually working on a hologram display with the idea of building a prototype where you have a virtual storyteller, and the RealSense is going to be used to capture that depth data for film that goes onto the holographic display. Yeah, Spark is getting kind of abundant. Yeah, I kind of agree on that. That's the reason I stopped doing Spark for a while, is because I'm just uninspired by it. It doesn't have the functionality or features. I've kind of reached my limit with it at the moment. I want to go further, and it just isn't quite letting me yet. And it's still quite buggy, especially in some of the later versions, which is annoying me quite a bit. But yeah, so the Intel field sensors for that. But the idea is I could actually make a stand and have people walk to this museum, for example, and have a virtual tour guide, and it just be, I don't know, it's just a bit of fun. Again, not all these projects are commercial. Some of these projects are just being done for the kind of sake of it, really, just to kind of get this kit. All this kit, by the way, is bought with my own money. I don't get sponsored to do any of this sort of stuff. I use my work money to buy this sort of stuff, and then I'm at the moment using my AdSense money to support family members. But yeah, that's it. I just wanted to show you an unboxing of it, really. You do pretty good 3D modeling. Did you try to make any games? Yes, I actually used to do a game production course. So my background actually is in game production. I really like Unreal. I'm okay with Unity. I've made kind of drone flying games that use the Kinect and the what do you call it? Leap motion sensor. So when you've got this VR headset on and you're using Leap motion sensor, you can make the drone go up and down using your hand to sort of control the drone for obstacles. I made a kind of game that was inspired by music, which basically you depending on which door you chose, depending on which gender you was, which toilet you went to, and it also kind of chose whether you was how able-bodied you were, and it's to focus on kind of disabilities. Nothing that's kind of been released publicly. It's all mostly been project work or experimental project games. But yes, I do have experience in game making, and I would like to actually cover some game tutorials in the future. Yes, I would like to cover some game tutorials in the future. The only reason I haven't done any for a while is I kind of fell out of love with making games for a while. And obviously to record tutorials on them, it's a big task because I'm not the kind of the best coder in the world. I can code in C#, I can code in C++, if I have to, but I kind of prefer the creation element to the actual troubleshooting element personally. But anyway, hopefully this has been a nice little bonus. Got to see my new toy. Let's see if I can actually undo this. It should have a clasp. There we go. I think this just slots off, which it does. So try Bolt Visual Scripting. Never actually heard of that. That's how out of touch I am with this sort of stuff. So yeah, I will have to investigate that definitely, because that sounds interesting. I like visual scripting. It is the it is the way of things, the way things are going. You look at how websites developments kind of progressed over the years, and it's become more and more user friendly. People can just drag and drop things, and I think for games and coding that should be a thing. It's for Unity. I did know that Unity has a visual editing option. I haven't really played with it much. Again, I'm one of those things where I've got used to doing things the old-fashioned way, so I haven't really got round to making my life easier and doing it the better way. So I'm kind of doing this a bit arse about face, because I'm trying to do this one-handed. There we go. So there we have the drone now unfolded. It weighs practically nothing. You could quite easily, drop this and whatnot. I wouldn't recommend dropping it though, because I don't think it'd take a lot of impact. It's only made of this kind of hardened plastic. Battery compartment is under this little latch here. Little rear sensors there. But yeah, this looks cool. I'm hoping to fly it. I might get some test stuff. I can't actually legally fly it quite yet. I've got to get my operator license sticker printed and then stuck on here. Because you can't fly again unless you've got a pilot license and an operator license if you work flying anything with a camera on. So that's the UK law again. That depends on which country you're in. But yeah, thank you for watching. Have a fantastic day. What license to fly drone? In the UK, it's the CAA. You register on the CAA, and depending on, and it tells you all the details there on what kind of drone you need to license up to. If you're flying something under 250 grams, which is a A0 class, I believe, which covers things like model airplanes, toy
toy aircrafts, light drones. I think an A0 to A1 license is that. Off the top of my head, I'm trying to remember because I did this a few weeks ago. Um, Anything bigger that weighs up more than 250 grams, you obviously have to go for an A2 to A. I'm not sure if it's an A3, but I think A2, A3 license. Different countries have different laws, different rules. Um, the BAA, I believe, are in charge, control the kind of airspace in America. The CAA for the UK. But yeah, just look on the websites, check it, look at drone laws in your country, and you'll quickly find out how to do it. They are still quite subjective in some countries. Anyway, yep, nice talking to you. Uh, Hopefully, yeah, content will be coming back. I'm sorry about last month, but yeah, I am got a lot of content coming. This week there will be just a large amount of Insta360 Pro 2 videos. Now these won't necessarily be of interest to a lot of people, but the reason I'm doing them is because I kind of need to do them for some community stuff. So just bear with that. But there will be some tutorials coming very soon, and I'm looking to do things like Lens Studio, Blender, and some game engine stuff. I keep talking about wanting to do what I'm going to do because that's the fun stuff. Have a great day and